Welcome to Boston in Common, where we bridge the gaps in health equity, one conversation at a time. I'm Melissa Hector, your host, and today we're getting into a topic close to the heart of our communities, the vital role of Black male fathers. So join us as we celebrate the strength, resilience, and unwavering love of Black male fathers, because when we uplift them, we uplift us all.
Brothers, how y'all feeling?
Great.
Feeling good.
Fathers.
Yeah.
How was this morning for you?
6:30 a.m. is like kind of the natural wake-up call at this point, especially when your son is like Bam Bam from the Flintstones. You know, he's got strong legs.
And how old?
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
My daughter's 8, my son is 10 months. Drop her to school, then take him to daycare, then usually go back to the house.
9 and 3. Just great space. We're up 5:30. Little one's out, carpool on the bus, in school by 9 as well. Getting ready to be a father. How was your mindset going into it?
When you find out that your significant other is pregnant, it just doesn't really hit you the same way, right? The extra stuff of just like the preparation for just like all the other setups that you're not necessarily cognizant or aware of that's coming down the pipeline. I think the one thing I was telling my friends is like the amount of boxes, man. Like something new every day, right? Like you have no expectation of what the next day brings and the new challenges. So
It was exciting, but excitement under control because we had a miscarriage first. And so that was hard. And then when we got pregnant again, can't really share yet because you got to manage that. And so, but once, everything was like, oh no, we're good. Yeah, it was tons of excitement. One, because doctors told my wife that she would never get pregnant, right? And so,
Oh, wow.
yeah, like just double blessings. So I still count even a miscarriage as a blessing.
Yeah.
I like being around older people and asking a lot of questions, just gain wisdom. Like, how did you do that? How are you so close to your child? And just started gleaming from a bunch of men that were around me, mainly through my church. Not having the greatest example before me either, necessarily like within my house, but having a lot of other men around me who I saw as great fathers and being able to look at them.
Not having those role models directly in, I would do the same thing. Put myself around men I thought were great and try to pick a little bit from their bios. I didn't know when this arrival moment would happen. And at 24, I didn't think it would be there. When we found out, of course, there was some excitement, but there was really internal turmoil. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ready for this. I need 50 more years. Or some made up perception of what I think I needed to, my resume needed to look like, and my finances needed to look like. Just recreate a trajectory of like trying to break generational curses. You know what I mean? And so all that was just pressure.
Yeah.
I think that segues us into another kind of point here, just sharing experiences with doctor visits. I know for myself, I think that, and I want to say should have done a better job, but I should have been more intentional about journaling. My wife and I, we talked about it and what was different and how this could have been better, but I think for me, having it in writing.
it's kind of a difficult balance between knowing like what could be legitimate, right, in that moment, or just like where we just need to take a step back and just wait to talk to the doctor. And I feel like if there's an issue, just call the doctor. Let's get an answer first before we start panicking and working ourselves up just to figure things out. Because, especially amongst the Black community, like, we know the mortality rates, right? And you just want to make sure you're extra careful. Wanting to be an advocate for your spouse, it's something that even until this day, you still got to be an advocate, right? And even an advocate for your child.
Everyone's anxiety looks different. Everyone's anxiety, that just looks different. How do you support your partner, whatever their anxiety communication is, and like how do you listen to that? And I think that that's a negotiation me and my wife has always been trying to figure out is like, all right, is this a concern? How do I listen to it? And then how do I also hear it deeply? And then what's our next step? To the whole point of the clinical visit, I feel like I could prepare more, but I also feel like no matter how much I could prepare, I was always going to be blindsided. I just think that the complexity of our medical system and the difficulty of doing something you've never done before is tough.
I hated it.
Yeah.
They ignored me. I went to every visit. I didn't miss not one visit. They ignored me. They misnamed me multiple times. So every time I'm going after your doctor's note, right? Clearly, the nurse who's giving to the same nurse knows that we're married. And then randomly, she's like, "Oh, what's your boyfriend's name?" I was about to go off, but my wife ended up checking her. Most of the time, they wouldn't even look at me. They were looking directly at my wife. They wouldn't look at me at all. They didn't have my name on her stuff. I'm like, my child has two parents. I said, and they're on my insurance. How don't you have my name on the on my kid's information? Like, with my daughter, it was. I was frustrated the majority of the time going to doctor's visits.
There was a couple times where I went to the provider and I was not engaged at all, right? You know, and they didn't look at me. They talked directly at my wife. If I had a question, I feel like even one time I got like an eye roll. And I was like,
it was tons of attitude.
Yeah, and I was just like, no, my question is valid here. Yeah, she's the star, but I'm the cheerleader, right? Like, or we're a team.
We were there as well the first time, but again, I didn't know how to name it. You know what I mean? A lot of things I didn't know how to like put a thing. I was like, I don't feel comfortable going, but I have to show it for you. A lot of that was like, I'm not even welcome in that space unless I demand it, you know, or unless I super code switch. And now I'm going in there super smiley and I'm tired.
You wearing
know
the
what I mean? Exactly. You know?
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
And so just, you know, having to change me to show up there. You know what I mean? Our second child, we wanted to do a home birth. So preparing for that, things didn't go like we planned. Everything, you know, was fine in the long run, but there were differences in how, for me, the actual delivery is the thing that's at the forefront, not the little baby steps leading up to it. Because I was like, all right, as long as, you know, my wife's healthy, she's good, healthy baby, we're good. But it's those steps that really ensure, you know, her that things will be good in that moment. And we actually had Asada during COVID. She was a COVID baby. Yep. And so navigating just the healthcare system was very interesting as well in that, because for somebody who wants to be just kind of hovering over, you know, making sure my wife is good, and they were like, no, you can't. You got to stay right there.
Upstairs,
stay right there.
Oh,
you know what I
wow,
mean?
really?
Matter of fact, don't stay in the car. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
And so it's a lot of that. But even our family couldn't come down and create a bubble.
You didn't have
like
any guests or anything? Oh.
So that was difficult because I'm hearing stories from my wife about, you know, some horror stories, some the small microaggressions that kind of built up, but navigating just COVID was tough too, because I can't be as, you know what I mean? I can't push as much as I wanted to, but she came and everything was fine.
We had the C-section, and that is, especially if you're not expecting it, scary. I'm a public health person, like Jeremiah, adolescent work, working with young people in my life, to be in that space and feel like I have no expertise to lend here. And all I'm going to have to do is trust that this team of doctors, who I really don't know because the person who worked with us is not here now. This is just random doctor number 2. Right. Knows what they're doing enough, and I'm just gonna have to trust them. The second one was actually even rougher, but it was just like step by step. Okay, we got a C-section. I'm seeing the blood on the floor. Baby's delivered. Now baby's in her lap. She needs to sleep. She can't do anything, and I'm holding this baby. And I'm working on my computer at the same time, and there's a picture of this here. And I'm like, and as I look at that picture, I'm like, what is going through your head at that point in time? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I need to hold the email and hold a baby right now. But I actually thought it was kind of a gift, because I got to know my daughter really well for those first couple of days,
sure.
right?
I know, 100% I agree with that.
Had to change her, right? Had to feed her, you know?
My wife had a C-section, so she wasn't able to necessarily take care. She was staying in the bed just to recover, right?
Absolutely.
So changing the diaper, giving the baby the bottle.
Yep.
That was mostly on me for those first few days. I felt like once I just jumped in, like it didn't hit me that I was a father yet. I know that anticipation, like I have no idea what I'm going to do with. Once you see your child and like you get into the weeds of everything, you're like, this is fine.
When you mentioned that, it brought me back with my daughter. Literally, when I placed the car seat in the car, I just started bawling, crying. I can remember like it was yesterday. As soon as I strapped it, like I immediately I was like, wow, this is
it.
Real. Like it's me and you now.
Yeah.
There's no more nurses. There's no doctor. When it's on us. Like we have another human.
Yeah.
We're now responsible for it.
How about parenting in COVID?
Well, for me, it wasn't that hard because my daughter was older. I would just be responsible for setting my daughter up. Yeah, but I would make sure she had her handouts, she had her pencils, her crayons, everything she needed was right there so she didn't have to get up. And then she was fine. Like she knew how to log off when she needed to log off. Yeah, that's how it was for that whole
Wow.
2020 and then some of 2021.
It was something of an inequitable blessing because like not everyone in our teams could do that. But I was redeployed to help with the incident response around COVID. But then after that, came back to the work, and I actually thought it was really a gift. I got to spend my mornings with her. You know, we went to the playground in the mornings. Me and my wife could split the day because my wife works remote too. And I just got to engage with her and actually spend more time with her than if it had not happened. So it was just kind of weird to understand like so much was going on during COVID for the rest of the world, so many folks who were struggling, but we were able to kind of create a little bit of a bubble. But it was also weird as a COVID baby is I'd walk out and one of her earliest words was mask. She'd go, mask, and grab my mask and pull it over my nose, right, as we were going out, right?
Daughters.
What?
My daughter too. I remember getting too close to a fence, so when he was outside, she was like, "Back up."
For real. So my daughter
Public health daughters right there.
Similar with us too in terms of just tightening our ship internally, because we had to be, just coexist every day. But it was a blessing, and I don't say that too much just because of what was going on in the rest of the world and how it's very privileged to be blessed during that time. You know,
I didn't have to experience really the heart of COVID because my son's only 4 months old, but some of the after effects, which is like protecting each other, right? You don't want your wife to get sick, and still it's still possible to get COVID, but just masking up wherever you go, like being cognizant, like where do you want to go out? So like the after effect of COVID is still here today, like how you just think of how do you navigate, like what events do you want to go to? Like how many people are going to be there? Now that your child's in the world, it's like, well, I don't want them to get sick because there's still some change that you have to
absolutely
think that you're not like naturally thinking of. Just thinking like, all right, like I go to make a run to CVS. Let me go put a mask on just because it's flu season.
Yeah,
just being a little more cognizant of that.
Yeah.
My church family, they're just so like, I grew up in my church, so they watched me grow up, and now that I have children, then when my son came, everyone, I mean, they're all like my moms and my father, like we're very much family oriented in my church. I remember feeling like, no, I can't actually just naturally I would, because like, you're family, but it's like,
I'm not gonna lie, brother, that's one thing I did appreciate. I don't like, even with ISIS, I don't like anybody in my daughter's face, you know what I mean? Or like holding.
You want that distance?
You need a bubble. Pre-COVID, after COVID. So I will say that was a blessing.
Okay.
No, it's COVID. No, we everybody can't be touching her and kissing her on her face and all that, 5 feet.
Something I wasn't really paying attention to before is like, I can manage my own environment, but now with my son, I really pay attention to it. I was like, oh, no, that's not a good time for him to be around a lot of people.
Yeah.
No, I'm not just handing him over to, he didn't have to stay with me today, right?
Yeah.
Or even like yourself, right? If you get sick, then you put your spouse in a position where it's not us taking care of the children. Now it's potential like
just you.
Now it's just you,
Yeah.
or it's like if you're really sick, then now you become a little child, right? Now it's like, oh, now I need some help. So you don't want to put that burden out there as well.
How did you all, you and your spouses, you and your partners find balance?
Yeah, I think it's ever changing. I mean, of course, a lot is on the mom, especially if you're breastfeeding. Yeah, that was stressful. My wife, of course, like feeling all of that because like I'm not able to nurse my daughter right away, and then going through all of that. It's like feeling like she's a letdown. It's like, no, it's just a process. And then once it's now fully in, then trying to figure out a pumping schedule, right? And so we laugh about it. Like there's times like I'm holding pump on this side, she's holding on that side, the baby's like somewhere. But I remember like it took us 2 weeks before we were able to create a schedule. Once we did that, then we were good.
Like there's some things you can, put into a routine, like whether it's like cleaning bottles, doing dishes. I remember from the get-go, and it's just, you bring you back to just getting the milk and the breastfeeding. Oh my God, now you're also a coach, right? You're like, you don't even know, you can't do it, but you're like, it's okay, just temper expectations. Like, oh, it's all right. It's like, just don't worry, just keep going at it, just try to keep a level head. And that's a frustrating process because most of my stuff is done at night. I would cook the night shift. So I was like, okay, I'll be the night nurse.
Yeah.
So then it was like I wanted her to get her rest at night and be ready for the morning because that's when I needed to take that time off. Then now it's just gotten to the point where he's just so, knock on wood, my son sleeps like 12 hours straight. You put him down at 7, he can wake up he can stay until like 6, 7. I'm like, like it is a blessing, right? And so now that it's gotten to that point, things have gotten more normal, and he started doing that like 6 weeks. And still, like to this day, it's like, you know, if she has something, if she has to go somewhere, she has to do something. It's just being flexible and trying to figure it out.
When Morgan and I first had our first child, we weren't living together at the time, and then we immediately started living together. A lot of it was learning each other, trying to find balance in each other. And I don't think we knew that we were like 23, 24 at the time. You know what I mean? But looking back on it, that's what we were doing, you know, learning each other around, trying to make sure a human is okay, you know. At the time, we were in a room in her aunt's house, and just, you know, just trying to get it together. But I was with Isis more so in the morning, and then it kind of flipped with our second child, you know. But you dropped a great point. I think for me, it was trying to plan like week, month, but I think it's day to day, as opposed to trying to be on it and plan out. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's those day-to-day check-ins that I think hit home a little more, listening to you all, you know, just to make things, you know, copacetic right now, you know. Yeah.
It's so funny, I'm resonating with everything everyone said at different points of time in the childbirth journey, but I also can't specifically remember what our pattern was. One, I didn't realize that latching and that the anxiety that comes around latching was so big for my wife, right? Like, and having a conversation with her, and to your point, you're a coach, but you're a coach with no expertise. And so being able to manage that was hard, and figuring out what her schedule would look like for that was difficult. I did do the 3 a.m. thing where I would take like the 3 a.m. shift. I'm a normal night owl, and sometimes you would have to take the baby like to a completely different part of the house because like that one cry wakes you up, you know, wakes you up. So one room that I don't even know.
We tried to make it work. You're on the home now, but just seeing that, you know what I mean? It's just the timeline, man. It was difficult.
It's just good also to hear this from all of you, because I feel like it's very supportive to have common things, though I'm feeling a little bit of envy for you, because 12 hours is just...
Hey, because everyone's like, oh man, those sleepless nights, man, those sleepless nights. Like, everyone's like, oh, you're gonna be up all night, and then I tell them, they're like, what? It's like they feel like I just got like the easy baby.
You should be like, oh yeah, but sleepless nights.
But the thing is, like, there's a whole bunch of other challenges where he's up during the day. So like he could take one nap, and it's like trying to put him down for a nap. He's like, I need to see what is going on. I need to be engaged. I need some songs. I need my toys. I need milk on deck. It's like. That's the other challenge.
Segue out of that point, brothers, what brings you joy in being a father?
I think now my daughter, when she's older, like I couldn't wait for her to get older to just be able to have conversation. That's what I enjoy most. She's been at that point for a while, and so yeah, she just amazes me just how her brain works. She's also very witty. She's competitive too, which I know she gets that from me and her mom, but she's also confident too. Like, she's confident in what she's been taught thus far. Having conversations with her bring me joy. And also, my daughter's very attuned to people, and especially me. And so I don't even have to be saying anything. She can notice that there's like something a little off. And she'll just either just come and sit next to me, or sometimes she'll just come and hug me, right? Like, all those things, I'm like, this is beautiful.
Seeing them smile, seeing them happy, knowing that they're cared for, that makes me happy. Just knowing that they got protection. Like, even getting like a small smile, even after all the challenges, it could be a tough day. But then you just get that one smile, and it's like, that was worth it. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I know I'm just trying to help raise a child and just be a good person in this world. And that's just what I look forward to every day. It's funny, like, I'm happy when he goes to sleep, right? Because it's like, all right, now I get my time, I get my stuff done. Yeah. But then, you know, you got the baby monitor right there. I'm like, I can't wait for the next day. I really can't wait for the next day.
I get a lot of joy from them recognizing that even though I haven't fully processed what dada or father means for me, they know exactly what that means, and it's me. And that's really meaningful to me. When I see them like demonstrate character, even so young, right? Like when I see her take care of him, when I see her share a toy, I see her think about like, okay, this person did something I didn't like, and this is how I responded in a meaningful way. I'm like, oh, you could have character this young, and you know, and somehow something me and my wife are doing is helping you to grow that. Same thing for him, like, and again, this is a small toddler. Either he smacked her or he took a toy from her and he saw that she was sad. So the toy he stole, he gave back. And I'm like, okay, you just, that's some restorative justice right there, right? Like, ideally, all of our jobs is to raise like good people, right? I think that's our job. And I think that to see like these kind of seeds of a good person, yeah. So.
I find a lot of joy in picking her up from school and hearing just the conversations, and this is my older daughter, just the conversations on the playground now. And I remember being like, you know, my calendar running my life at a certain time. I'm racing to get there before, you know, the after school teacher looks at me sideways, you know, and feeling like I don't have time to listen. You know what I mean? I think now where my life is, I have time to just listen. You know, she was just, you know, upset about something. I can't remember exactly what it was. It's my daughter. But her perception of like the outside world, you know what I mean? Like we have a lot of conversations about how it is out there and how it could be and how privileged we are to be here and create this kind of cocoon for you. You know what I mean? So it's certain ways that I think that it's not even a reality for her. You know what I mean? And that sent me on a roller coaster because I don't know how to feel about that. You know what I'm saying?
Preserving the innocence.
Preserving the innocence, but like still knowing the reality.
And I know something, you know, my wife tried to be very cognizant of allowing her to have that innocence as long as possible. Because it can be snatched so quick, either by a classmate, a relative, someone out in the community, even some of the things in some of the quote unquote kid movies. I'm like, that's very inappropriate. Yeah, try to be cognizant of that and protect her innocence, but also those moments that you're speaking of where it's like, well, actually you should be seeing this.
You should be conscious of this.
Yeah. And I'm like, do I introduce this to her?
Yeah.
Is she ready to hold this kind of information or not?
Because it'll be another question that follows. It'll be a string pull.
String pull,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
if I say this, then I'm like, where are we going to go with that?
Where are we going to go with that?
You know?
Like Martin Luther King Day. You need to talk about it. We need to talk about the legacy of injustice. At what age and how does that make sense? And how does she not feel personally threatened by that? Yeah. I would really have a problem if I had a 4-year-old who didn't understand who Martin Luther King was or what he did, right?
Yeah, it's tough. I think for us, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, protest incident in general is what we kind of sat Isis down and was like, look, this is what it is. You know what I mean? And she already kind of knew. She just needed her parents to kind of, you know what I mean, help her comb through some of those fine details about what's going on. So we started to just write down her thoughts about, you know, how she was feeling, trying to create like a book out of it, you know what I mean? And she can kind of give something, you know, back. I will say that is when it kind of really hit home for us because we're struggling to, you know, talk about it as well. So how do we package this for a 5-year-old who can't escape it because you turn the TV on, that's all you see. That's all you see. You know what I mean? COVID and this. I think now it's a couple things that are a little more deeper there. You know, not deeper, but you know, just different. What advice do you have for young fathers as it pertains to just fatherhood, being a birthing coach, a great partner?
Finding this circle. What was where were the father role models? Where did you find the elder men who've been through that space? I think it's really important to find that support. And if you don't find it naturally, seek it out, you know, and also thinking about what is your role? What's your unique role in that?
I will also say to do all you can. Do all you can. Exhaust everything. And if you think you have, try again. Like just keep at it. Know that you have a specific role in your child's life. You're not there to be identical to the mother. This is what you do well. Just be available. Especially once your kids get older, you mess up. Like, there's nothing wrong with apologizing to your
100%.
child. It's a teachable moment for them. Daddy's not gonna always get it right. Sometimes daddy responds the wrong way. And I need to let you know, actually, what I did was wrong. Because I don't want you to think it's okay for somebody else.
I did that just this morning. I was short with her. And I was like, all right, get your shows on now. She went upstairs, came back down, and I was like, I'm sorry. I lost my temper. I have to videotape for something later today, right? Like, I apologize. And she's like, I understand, right? But I think, modeling that.
I got 3 things. Being flexible, constantly learn, and being vulnerable. And so like flexible is every day it's gonna be a new set of issues. I mean, you're taking care of a person. They have emotions. They're gonna have good days, they're gonna have bad days. So you gotta be flexible, and it's not only the child, It's your spouse, it's yourself. You gotta be flexible and just be understanding that not every day is gonna be perfect. Constantly learning how to be a better parent, just like whether it's reading books, going looking for blogs, talking to your doctor, talking to your community and seeing what everyone else is doing and trying to like gauge like, okay, I'll be doing that, I won't be doing that. Being vulnerable. I think sometimes as fathers, like we put this weight on our shoulders where we have to be perfect. We can't show emotion at times, and that we're gonna have hard days too. And just being able to communicate that with our spouse and saying like what we're going through, what we're thinking that day, like what happens, expressing yourself, saying this is what's happening with me right now, and like I'm not gonna be great today. I'm gonna try my hardest, but just so that you understand, like this is what I'm going through. And Jeremiah, you're at the age where you can actually have a conversation with your child and be like, hey, like this is not a good day for me, so like just understand. But I think those are my big things, like flexibility, constantly learning, and being vulnerable.
For me, a different, I don't want to say level opened up, but when I got my own therapist, being able to kind of just have that examen with somebody else that I don't know at all, you know what I mean, was huge. So you don't know what you don't know. So I would say, one, get your own therapist, you and your therapist. Two, I think we all said that, just finding the community. And three, I'm struggling with three because it's like on one end, you can say show up, but I know I've probably struggled with this as well, but being present but not being present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of folks are present but not present, you know what I mean?
Add to being present, being gentle with yourself, right? It is not an easy job. It's a rewarding job, but it's easy and it could be a hard job. So being gentle with yourself, right? Like we're not going to get it perfect all the time, right?
Self-grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah.